wanted to create a task, not wait for another task to be created, right? I did fix that. I cheated. This was supposed to be all Copilot, but we could do it again. So let's save this and then let's test it. Welcome, 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 welcome. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do like AI. We're going to try to put AI to the test today. So we're going to focus on Power Automate and its AI integration or Copilot integration. So if anyone's not familiar with Power Automate is, it's basically Microsoft's workflow or M365 workflow arm. If you want tasks to be done automatically, you can leverage Power Automate. If you're familiar with SharePoint used to have something called workflows. It still does, but Power Automate is that successor to that. So let's put it to the test. To get to Power Automate from M365, it's pretty straightforward. Go to your top left corner, click on the waffle, and then there you have Power Automate. I'm not quite sure if every subscription for M365 comes with Power Automate. I personally, right now, I'm using the Business Premium subscription. Let's click on Create. And then you're going to start off with a bunch of options here. And then you have some templates here that you can leverage, but we don't want to use any of that. We want to go to describe it, design it. Describe the flow you want and AI builds it, right? So now we got to think of a scenario that we want. Let's keep it pretty simple. Or here's my idea. I have a list in SharePoint, and when a new item is added to the list, I want a new item to be created in Planner. You know, it's funny. I never I mean, I'm assuming it doesn't care, but do I really need punctuation and grammar when I'm setting it to AI? If anyone knows, let me know. Doesn't matter. I have a feeling it doesn't matter. It's AI. It doesn't care about the grammar. Anyways. So that's it. So let's send this off and let's see what it does. And again, we're using all AI here. So it's basically saying after you review this AI generated flow suggestion, click next to configure it. So I guess at this point, we're going to check and validate that it has the proper triggers and actions of which we need for this particular scenario. So let's take a look. So the flow starts when this happens, correct? When an item is created. And I'm assuming this is an item trigger. And then next, the action. This is what the flow will do. It'll create a task in Planner. So that's basically it, or that's very close to what I was looking for. So let's click next and let's see what happens. Okay, so review your connected apps and services. All right, that's fine. And so let's create the flow, right? I guess we didn't make it too complex. Welcome to Copilot and Power Automate. Be more efficient than ever with AI. Blah, blah, blah. And then I guess it's repeating what we have. This was our initial input statement. Have a list in SharePoint. If I want to tweak the flow a little bit, I can tweak it here. So let's use one of its suggestions. Add an action that sends an email. So let's do that. All right. So add an action that sends an email to me when the planner task has been created. So just feed that in. It's working on it. And then it's basically saying what it's done. Okay. So that's pretty cool. So basically what we did was Power Automate is basically codeless or, very low code. And then on top of that, we have AI doing the coding for us. Or the low code coding for us, which is pretty cool. So I guess what we got to do, we just kind of maybe got to wire some stuff up here. So let's see here. Okay, so I had to do some fiddling around here. Let's go to the flow again. So what did I do? So again, did the same things. I'm just going to show you all the wiring that I did. So choose your site. And I don't know why it's giving you the GUID for the list, but whatever. And then create the task. So again, I had to restart and for it to show HR plans and then HR plans. So I did that. And then I'm just telling it to give whatever name is the name of the title of the item created in SharePoint. And then lastly, it's going to send an email. And then I guess what I'll do is I'll just use the title of the item. So we'll use create a task title. And then from here, we'll provide the created by, the name of the person that created it, and then we'll also provide the percent completed, and then we'll provide the start time, and then the created by time. So again, if you recall, we created this using Copilot. I did also end up changing this. I noticed it said when a new item is created, and then it had it as the action would be when a new item is created, when a new task is created, which is not accurate, right? We wanted to create a task, not wait for another task to be created, right? I did fix that. I cheated. This was supposed to be all Copilot, but we could do it again maybe. But so let's save this and then let's test it. Now what it's doing, it's running, it's checking, it's waiting, and it created the task and then it sent the email. So we should theoretically see the email, and here we go. Testing Copilot automation, testing Copilot automation, and then here are our metrics that we told it to include in the email. So far, so good. So as we can see, it does work. What we can do now is I'm going to do it all over again because I did cheat. I updated this one a little. Let's go back here, create. Let's do when. Let's see if we can make it a bit more specific. Let's see. So when item is created, create a task. Okay, looks good. Okay, create flow. Okay, and so far so good. So that's pretty cool. I like that because I was more specific. As you can see, a kind of new issue tracker. I give it points, but obviously it did not get the URL, so that's fine. The actual site. So that's totally fine. And then of course we're still gonna have to choose our list here. It tried, it did put the value in, it's just it would have needed the address. So actually it's probably our fault or my fault. I should have said from HR onboarding site and the issue tracker list when an item is created, blah blah blah. So I could have been and I should have been more specific. That's my fault. And then of course with create task, I should have been more specific as well. But either way, we'll choose our item. So again, the lesson here is that the more specific you are, and see it tried to pull in the information where I said I wanted to take the title name. So let's leave that. Let's see if that actually works. Let's see if that works. And then I could have been more specific here as well. Send it to email address, things like that. So that's the great thing about AI. It's as specific as you get it, right? The more specific you are, the better the logic is. So we'll create display user, title, percent completed, and we'll just do the start date. And again, some of them might be populated, some of it may not be. All right, and then we will try to pull in the assigned person's name. Again, we have a new flow that we just created, and similar to the other one, but this time our input was a little bit more specific. I think it did a pretty good job. I should have been a little bit more specific, so that's on my end. So let's save this, and then let's test. We'll do manual, And we'll create a new item. Two, and then we had the assign name. I think we also had the start date or the date. I don't know if that's the same, but we'll just populate it anyways. And we'll fill this in as well. So let's click save. Okay, it said my flow ran successfully. So I guess that's a good sign. So let's go back here. Perfect. Automation 2. And then I guess this one's from Planner. Task was created, new task has been created. Here's the name, and then that's my identifier. And then we have this other email. Again, it's pulling in the right information. So yeah, so that's basically it. This one is officially fully AI. The other one I cheated a little bit. I did make the change, but this one, as you can see, I just created specifically from the Copilot. So that's basically it. What we did was we used Copilot to create a Power Automate, and then, or we told Copilot what we wanted to do, and then it basically did the coding. It tried to do a little bit of hooking up of the variables automatically, and I think it did a pretty good job. I think if I was a bit more specific, it would have done a better job. And then once it did that, we then created the action to trigger the workflow to kick off by creating a list item in our SharePoint site. And then from there, it created an item in HR or in Planner. So let's quickly take a look at Planner for a second just to see what happened there. And there we go. Here are all of our tasks. So that's great. So again, we didn't create these tasks within Planner. We created them in SharePoint, and then Planner created them. And then we had an email that was sent to us, all based off of Power Automate that we created via Copilot. Stay tuned for more automation. I do courses about this stuff. So if you're interested, just let me know. But yeah, I hope you found it interesting. Thanks.